Mic check 1, mic check 2, mic check 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention, please. We'd like to get started in honor and Bill Jorgensen today. A special someone has asked everyone to move on into the room and take a seat, please. Y'all don't all have to stand by the door. We got plenty of room, but do whatever's comfortable right now. My name is Jill Bergen. I'm with the Williamson County Emergency Management Agency here. And on behalf of those who work at the Public Safety Center, we thank you for being here today in honor of the retirement of our Director of Public Safety, Bill Jorgensen. A couple of quick housekeeping notes. We have refreshments here in the media briefing room. Restrooms are just down to the left from the lobby. And rather than a traditional guest book, we did have these cards that we would love it if you could fill them out in the lobby with some contact information for Bill and any retirement advice you may have for him. If you know Bill, you know that he's not somebody who demands or even enjoys a lot of attention. But those of us who work with him really want to thank him for giving us the chance to thank you for all that you've done for us and for Williamson County over the years. So with that, I would ask, I know I asked you to sit down, but I would ask that you please stand for the presentation of our nation's flag. Today, the colors are presented by the Williamson County First Responders Honor Guard team, and then we'll say the pledge. Thank you.
Mark time. Mark. Detail. Hold. Left. Feet. Hold. Hold. Ready. Hold. Ready. Move. Breathe, in. Arm. Order. Arm. Left. Feet. Mark time. Mark. Left. Forward. Mark. Left.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for the invocation, which will be led by the Williamson Health Chief of Emergency Medical Services, Michael Wallace.
For those of you that know Vanna Wilson, excuse me, she's served within the community for many, many years, and how about that? Better? The prayer I've got to lead, I just want to acknowledge it's coming from Vanna Wilson. Vanna not only was the director that in part hired me many years ago and served as the director at Williamson EMS, but she's served as the chair of Public Safety Task Force, and she's a reverend in our community and just an incredible asset to the community. And Bill, she specifically sent this prayer in honor of today's events. So let's pray. God of all creation and author of life, we acknowledge you today as we gather to celebrate our friend and our colleague, Bill Jorgensen. Lord, we thank you for the gift of life and work. You give us the blessing of sharing visions and the ordinary tasks that add up to extraordinary impact. We understand that meaningful work in this life is truly a gift. We especially thank you today for the particular ways that you've blessed our community and nation through the life and work of Bill. Thank you for giving him the vision to humbly and courageously do what was best for this community, often making personal sacrifices along the way. Thank you for equipping him with a measure of patience and faithful endurance that help us become so much more than we could have ever imagined. We ask for your blessings on Bill as he moves into retirement. Please give him time with family and friends and restore his soul on a daily basis. And may the fruit of his labor for the past 4 decades leave a trail of blessing for new generations to follow. God, you give him and us wisdom for this community through Bill's leadership and work. Please allow that wisdom to increase in such a way that others will see it and be filled with gratitude and joy. We pray this with complete trust and much thanksgiving. In the name of Christ, amen.
Thank you. You may be seated. At this time, I'd like to welcome to the podium Williamson County Mayor Rogers Anderson.
Well, thank you. Bill, this is your day. If you're old enough, they used to have a TV show that said, "This is your day, Bill." And you're not quite that old. I want to say, first of all, that I have been involved in Williamson County politics since 1986. I've never known a day that I didn't have some kind of engagement with Bill or his team or his influence somewhere throughout the county. It is a great day for you. It is an apprehensive day for us as we go to that next level in Williamson County government. But with your help, you have actually trained your replacement, and I thank you for that. On another personal note, I'm glad that you get to spend some time with your lovely wife and your children and now your grandson to lug around and follow in his path and his journey. I think I could say this without any reservations, except for one person. Everyone loves Bill Jorgensen. And for you that don't know what I'm talking about, you can check with Bill. I absolutely have enjoyed working with you and see you develop a public safety center. This was one of the first ones in the state of Tennessee, outside the municipalities, the larger ones, where you took a concept, involved other elected officials. It took the whole team, the 911, the emergency management, the whole group, to turn into a award-winning public safety center for Williamson County. And you have shepherded that. You have nurtured that. You have done that with all of the dignity and the grace that I could possibly think and expect of someone. So thank you on behalf of all of Williamson County for that. Now a little bit about Bill and the history. I remember, many of you sitting in this room also remember that in 2008, 2009, we formed a public safety task force, of which we had a vision to pull all of our collective efforts together, not just in the county, but in the cities, all 6 of our cities, our state agencies, TEMA, you name them. Unfortunately, fortunately, we had a major flood in 2010 that required for us to go into action, and that action did not deliver from a facility standpoint of what would be expected of people in Williamson County. And then the sheriff, Jeff Long, and I were out working, and we said we could never allow this to happen again. And thanks to the county commissioners, they funded this facility in its entirety, and we gave Bill the direction, so we'll pass this on to Todd and to all the others and to Connor. Don't come back for 25 years and ask for any more money, and Bill has done that. So now I will give that direction to someone else for a new facility. But they have wore us out on trailers, secondary locations. They've never asked for another penny on this location, so he has obligated himself to that. But it was that time we made the turn. He was here, he lived here. I know his wife was not around to see him a lot when this construction was going on, and he turned into a facility that's been award-winning. And that could not have been done without your oversight, your involvement, and I know there are many others, but you were personally charged with getting this up and going. 10 years later, we just finished the Public Safety Task Force update, and many of you in this room served on that. So you've had the opportunity twice to do this. That's just part of your legacy. I think the biggest part of your legacy is that the community appreciates not always knowing what you're doing over here, or any of the men and women that work here, or any of you, any of the agencies that are listed here. But when an accident or an event occurs, whether it's any of our cities or it's the county, we're going to respond. We're going to give the appropriate attention to it, and we're going to deliver a finished product. And Bill, you should be commended on that. Finally, I want to say, if Diane will help me, we have a gift for you, and we would like for you to open that before I step down and turn this back over to Jill, I guess, or am I supposed to introduce somebody? Jill? You'll do it from there? Okay. While Bill is doing this, this is from Williamson County, and I'm not sure exactly what his wife is going to think about this. I will give you fair warning. This isn't Christmas, Bill. You can just tear into it. No, you don't have a knife? Bill, thank you. There are many other people going to make remarks, and I just wanted to have the opportunity to open it up and say thank you for your 35-plus years of hard work. Appreciate you very much.
Thank you.
We are going to do a little bit of shuffling around. Now's the time. If you'd like a seat, please, we've got several seats available if you want to sit down. I know firefighters probably will not heed that advice, but that's okay. And Bill and Lee, if y'all wouldn't mind, we'd love to have y'all come sit up here for the rest of the program. Just want to be sure you're featured properly. Thank you. Thank you. Now we'll hear from Brentwood and Franklin. Please welcome Brentwood City Manager Kirk Bednar and Franklin City Administrator Eric Stuckey. Do you want to take turns or?
We can share.
Okay, all right.
Good afternoon, everybody. Is this on? I guess it's on. My name's Kirk Bednar, again, City Manager of the City of Brentwood. With me is Eric Stuckey with the City of Franklin. And we're here really to represent all the municipalities here in Williamson County. I know we have, most of you are probably from Williamson County, but I know there are people from other parts of the state here. And while we may be a little biased, we are blessed in this county with the partnerships and the cooperation we have between the municipalities and Williamson County, and that covers all areas of government, but particularly when it comes to public safety and emergency management. And that happens because of relationships. And that's what Bill has always been in terms of working with the cities, and I know that direction comes from Rogers. We won't go through the long list of all the successes we have here, this building being one, the radio system, emergency management planning, everything that we do in this county successfully in that area is about relationships, and Bill is the parent of many of those relationships. There's never a point in any of those discussions where Bill has ever said, sorry folks, that's your problem. It's always been, let's get together and figure out how to do it. So again, just on behalf of all the cities in this county, we know that the residents of this county and all of our individual cities, without knowing it, have been severely, not severely, that's the wrong word in this context, have been greatly enhanced by Bill's presence and our safer community and a better community because of what Bill has done over his long career. And I'd just like to say personally, I had the chance, our kids went to school together at Franklin Christian Academy, so I had the chance to see a little bit of Bill outside of the workplace, and I know he's dedicated to his family, and I just wish him the best in his retirement.
I have to echo everything Kirk said, but I'll share a little story. I shared this with the Joint Communication Network Authority Board just a few weeks ago, but it just sticks with me, and it speaks to kind of where we've been, the journey we've been on. And Rogers talked about the task force, but from that group, a smaller group did some work to say, what can we deliver on? And it was the city managers, our respective police chiefs from Franklin and Brentwood, and Bill, Sheriff Long, and Mayor Anderson. And we did this little matrix chart, and we had a quadrant that said high impact, and we had another quadrant that said deliverable. And where we landed on that was the idea that we could do a public safety radio system to serve this entire county. And we're at a critical crossroads. Franklin could upgrade its existing system, both Brentwood and the county were looking at where they were with aging systems, and we could have each gone on our own way and been okay. But okay wasn't good enough for our community. Our community needed and deserved more. And so based on the trust that we had built, we looked around that room and we said, that radio system is something we can do to serve this county better. And from there, it grew into not just serving Williamson County, but being linked to Davidson County, to really being truly a regional and Middle Tennessee radio system. That does not happen if you don't have the character, the trust, the competency to make it, to deliver on it. And Bill's been on the front lines from day one to help make that happen. And we are forever grateful. Thank you. The other thing I'll say, none of that happens without what Bill exemplifies, which is character, it is competency, like I said, a steadiness. I've never seen him get down about anything. And there's some stuff to get down about. But he just keeps going and has that little smile on his face, and we're going to be okay. And doggone it if we don't believe it, because we will be. Because we've done the work, we've done the planning, we've put the pieces in place. And so your character, your humility, and your willingness to focus on the greater good has delivered and will continue to deliver for, I would say, generations in this community. So we are forever grateful. Thank you. God bless you in this next chapter.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ron.
thank you, gentlemen, for being here today. At this time, we'll have a presentation from the City of Franklin Fire Chief Glenn Johnson.
Good afternoon, Bill. Chief. One of the first times I think I've seen you out of uniform in a long time, not wearing cargo pants and a branded shirt.
It doesn't happen often.
The Hawaiian shirt looks good on you. I'd just like to say I appreciate the many years of support and dedication that you've given to this county, to the city that I work in. I know that at any time I needed something, I could simply pick up the phone and call you, and you would make it happen. And you not only did that for me, but you would do it for anybody else sitting in this room or anybody else in this county. And that goes to say a lot about you. Not many people are a phone call away. Well, you were. I can't tell you the amount of dedication this man has. We were in the trenches. We were in the basement of the old EOC, and look where we're at now. And this man led us down that path. We're going to miss you. You know, one of the things I'll personally say about Bill is when we started working in Homeland Security District 5, when it was formed, he was an integral part of that committee. As we grew and started to deploy as Tennessee Task Force 2, along with other departments, Brentwood, Nashville, Murfreesboro, Hendersonville, we needed communication support. Bill had us, it wasn't even a thought. We told him what we needed. He made sure we had it on the ground. And we know that your team will continue to support us that way and honor your legacy. And I'd just like to thank you for all the years of service. Chief Baltimore, if you'll join me up here, we have a little something for you that you can remember us by. We'd like to present this helmet to you so that you'll always remember us, and it's a token of our appreciation to your dedication and commitment to public safety and to all residents of Williamson County.
Thank you so much, Chief.
Thank you for being along the ride with him, because I know that he couldn't do what he did without your support, and this day is just as important for you and to us as it is him. Thank you.
And Bill, I would just like to echo to you as well. We're gonna miss you, no doubt about that. I heard the word vision mentioned earlier. It's because of your vision, along with others. It's the reason we're where we are today. And we from the city just thank you for what you've done for this county. And congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
Next, we will hear from our Director of our Emergency Management Agency, Todd Horton.
Jill encouraged you all to sit down. I'm going to go ahead and give you full disclosure. This is going to take 14 minutes. So if you want to stand up, that's on you. But I'm going to take this time to honor Bill. Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Todd Horton, and I've had the privilege of serving as the county's emergency management director for the past 5 years. And while I report to the mayor during times of disaster, my day-to-day responsibilities are performed in the direction and supervision of the public safety director. My background in public safety started a little over 39 years ago, and during that time I've served in a variety of positions and ranks, and either served under or worked in conjunction with a significant number of supervisors, managers, or department heads. In every role I served, there was opportunities to learn, and from those who guided me, from supervisors and or department head, among others. Many of you likely have had the opportunity during one or more job position interviews to be asked something like, how would you describe your ideal boss? When I had those opportunities, I would reflect on the positive characteristics that I had observed in my previous leaders and summarize those into a response. This exercise naturally also led me to reflect on negative characteristics that exhibited by some leaders and my desire not to emulate or be subject to those types of individuals. And while my sincere desire is to only exhibit the positive characteristics, I am certain that I have failed in more than one occasion. although I'm not asking anybody in the audience to confirm that. While I have no plans to apply for a job after this one, if I was asked that question again, without hesitation, I would describe Bill Jorgensen. We have all seen many examples of longtime leaders who have eventually allowed the power that they wield to go to their heads, destroy their own reputations and/or the reputation of their agency. Today, we gather with one another to celebrate and honor a man for over 35 years who has faithfully and admirably served this community. For many of those years, Bill has also exemplified characteristics as a great leader. While Bill is a great leader, he is also a proven manager, guiding staff in the execution of the vision when and where necessary. It is well known that Bill loves radio towers. And this is so fitting because when I think of Bill, I can easily make comparisons between the two. Here are just a few. A radio tower and a leader both serve as a central point of communication and influence within their respective domains. When we think of broadcasting, a radio tower transmits signals to a wide area, reaching many receivers. Similarly, Bill disseminates information, guidance, and vision to a broad audience, impacting the followers. Elevation. A radio tower is elevated to maximize its range and effectiveness. Bill stands out due to his elevated position, be it through his authority, his charisma, or his expertise, enabling himself to be heard and followed by others. Stability. A radio tower must be structurally sound to function effectively. Bill has a stable foundation of values, skills, and support to lead effectively and to maintain trust. Relay and reception. A radio tower not only broadcasts, but can also receive signals, playing a dual role. And likewise, Bill is adept at both delivering messages and listening to feedback, ensuring effective two-way communication. While I am not going to tell Bill's successor that he has big shoes to fill, I will say that he, as well as the rest of us in our organizations, can benefit greatly from following the legacy that Bill is leaving. From the day I started the county, I quickly realized that Bill ensured that everyone had a voice. From the highest rank to the lowest rank, the most tenured to the newest employee, everyone's input has been important. Everyone's thoughts had value. Ideas were always explored. Some had merit, whilst others did not. But Bill allowed and, more importantly, fostered discussions that led everyone in the room to come to the same conclusion. Employees always felt value in his presence. Bill made time to engage employees. He fostered relationships with everyone and took time to recognize the efforts of employees, offering encouragement for their future growth. His efforts always demonstrated his desire for their personal and professional growth and how their efforts were contributing to the success of the mission. During my career, I have watched many employees announce their retirement date and soon begin to check out. When Bill announced his retirement, he made it clear that that was not going to be the case with him. In every meeting, whether informal or discussion, since Bill announced his retirement, he has continued to engage and speak about the future as if he was still a part of the team, often saying, we will need to do this, or we need to accomplish this, not you will need to, or y'all need to. Bill loves communications, and while most of you would never pick up on it, he has a special affinity for amateur radio. I got a keen sense of awareness, so I see it. Bill understands that communication is the core component that cannot fail. Everything we do requires the ability to converse with one another and with the public. His intricate knowledge of various radio systems, their capabilities and limitations, and how best to deploy and use them is a sight to behold. While we were ultimately unsuccessful in our attempts to attain a local AM radio station, his efforts to prepare this county and to place it in a position to be able to provide critical communications to the public during times of crises was one testament of his ability to think outside the box and to solve complex issues. Rather than be deterred, Bill began to explore how using General Mobile Radio Service could meet this need. He began implementing that solution with equipment that the county already owned and will pass that torch to us to continue to execute it. This effort, when complete, will allow participating residents to have two-way communication with the Emergency Operations Center when other means of communications have failed. Today in Williamson County, interoperability communications between all public safety personnel is only limited by the individual agency's choice. Bill's work to expand Franklin's P25 trunking radio system throughout Williamson County for seamless communications was one of his many accomplishments. The partnership forged with Metro Nashville strengthened our capability and provided redundancy at the highest level. The exploration and procurement of many other communications assets provide us with an arsenal of resources at our disposal to ensure our best chance at success. Prior to the radio system expansion, many of you saw his innovative thinking in the concept and creation of the Bill Box. Named after Bill, these bidirectional interoperability link liaison boxes were strategically placed across the county, allowing field personnel as needed to quickly connect VHF, UHF, and 800 megahertz radio systems together at a fraction of the cost of commercially available systems, enabling critical communications across multiple agencies, both within and without Williamson County. This public safety building, Public Safety Center, has truly been at the center of public safety. While not solely Bill's design, his contributions to bring the center from concept to creation cannot be underscored. Today, this building houses public safety-focused personnel from EMA, 911, law enforcement, EMS, fire training, safety, personnel from both school districts, and information technology staff, allowing daily interaction of emergency planners, communications personnel, and first responders that foster better relationships, better communications, better planning, and therefore better results in a safer community. It was designed to further reach these concepts by supporting countless local, regional, state, federal, and nonprofit partners to be able to conduct meetings and trainings within the space, thus allowing the expanded building of relationships and planning efforts to not only serve Williamson County, but our neighboring communities as well. While my time with Williamson County Emergency Management has only been 5 years, I have known Bill for 39 years. We served together as volunteer firefighters with the Williamson County Rescue Squad beginning in 1985. Bill continued to faithfully serve there until 1996. During that time, Bill was hired by the county as a telecommunicator for 911 in 1989. Within 2 years, he was promoted to manager of 911 Center, which was a division under the Emergency Management Agency. While Christy may have more to say about that, I had the privilege of working for Bill once again as a part-time dispatcher. In 1994, Bill oversaw consolidation of the Sheriff's Office, Fairview Police Department, and Spring Hill. And in 1999, the Department of Emergency Communications was created and Bill was named as the director. In 2011, the Office of Public Safety was created to oversee the county's Emergency Management Agency and 911 Emergency Communications Department. And if I may, it was a no-brainer that the mayor once again appointed Bill to the director because he had proven himself time and time again. Additionally, he managed the successful consolidation of Franklin City and Spring Hill, 911 dispatch centers within Williamson County. Bill lives in the greater community of Boston, southwest Williamson County, and he is so proud every time the news channel highlights Boston during an event. Usually it's during warnings to take cover because a severe weather event is coming. While many people don't always understand it, many of the things we do today and why we do them are revealed in our history. And while Bill has been accustomed to provide history to me for everything that he has taught me, there is so much more that I could possibly absorb. This is just one of the many things I will miss. To fill this void, I have provided Bill with a pre-approved EMA reserve application pending his passing of a background check. And while I don't know if he has told his wife, the County Commission meeting approved the mayor's appointment of Bill to the Emergency Communications District Board. In these and other ways, Bill will continue his long tradition of service to Williamson County. Another of Bill's greatest strengths is ensuring that the right people are engaged to participate in any process that we undertake, allowing the strengths of each individual to complement the overall outcome. Just 2 days ago, during our weekly leadership meeting, Bill commented that he and I always complimented one another, and while I couldn't agree more, I clearly benefited much more from what he always brought to the conversation. For me, having a boss that shares your values, who shares your faith, is priceless. Bill is and has always been a friend. He is a coworker who is there to support you and encourage you through good times and bad. He is an amazing boss who understands your personal and professional life are interweaved, and that one absolutely does have an effect on the other. that both must be cultivated through work-life balance. While his engagement at work has not faltered, I began to miss him the day he announced he was retiring. However, I am reminded of his most commonest saying, and that is, it'll all be okay. To us, it's not just a cliche, but an assurance of a fact that working together, no matter the challenge, we will all be successful, and everything we do will truly be okay. Bill, may your retirement be filled with good health, lots of family time, a renewing of your faith, more pictures with radio towers in the background, more airtime on the ham radio, enjoyment in whatever you do. And finally, while I could speak ad nauseum about Bill and his promotion of the interoperability continuum all over the place, may your retirement be filled with many, many more hours of continuum volunteer service as an EMA reservist. Congratulations, my friend, on your years of service. Thank you for always positively impacting my life and the life of so many other employees. And thank you for your countless contributions that have provided this county with the greatest chance of success for responding to and recovering from a variety of emergency situations. God bless you.
Now I'd like to ask our Emergency Communications Director, Christy Borden, to come to the podium.
Well, I just flew in this morning and I tried to print my speech and it didn't go well, so I am going to do what Bill tells me to do, and I'm going to speak from my heart. Those of you who have seen me speak before at the awards ceremony know that I rarely make it through without tearing up, so I'm going to do my best. But we're honoring my mentor and friend. 16 years ago, Bill hired me. I had already had some experience at Metro and Laverne Police Department dispatching law enforcement, but he told me I had to learn how to do EMS and fire, and I hated it. I am sorry to all you fire and EMS, I was not good at it, and I hated it. Back then, I had a supervisor who was kind of rough around the edges, and I thought she hated me because she gave it to me every single day. Well, one night I'd had enough, and I started looking for another job. I was determined to leave Williamson County forever, and even if it meant hanging up the headset, and that was something that was killing me to do because I love dispatch. The next morning, I don't know how Bill knew, but the next morning he got there early. I usually left early because I work nights, and then he'd come in later, so he got there early. Come over and chatted with me. I don't remember what we chatted about, but I'm sure it's ham radio because that's what he loves to chat about. But I do remember what he said to me at the end of that conversation. He leaned over, he got quiet, and he said, "Heard you've been having a hard time. I want you to know my door is always open if you want to talk about it. I think you're doing a great job, and we want you to stay." And that's when he said, the first time to me, what he said to me over and over and over again from that time forward, is everything will be okay. And I believed him, and I stayed, and I'm so glad I did. He has told me that so many times over the years, I can't even begin to tell you. And every time that I thought it wasn't gonna be okay, it was. But I'll tell you why. It's because of him. Because he was here to support us and to point us in the right direction. He has taught me so many things, but the best thing he has taught me is that relationships are critical to the mission. And they are more important than ego and pride. Bill has supported the 911 Center, not only supported them, he has built this 911 Center from the bottom up. Everything up there that's going on today, the amazing service that we're doing, that's all Bill's vision. What you're seeing right now is Bill's vision. And we could not have done that without Bill. I know that if I asked him today, he would say that the best room in the house is the Oxcom room. But I know that Ecom is a close second. So, without further ado, we've got a few gifts for Bill. I'm going to ask Jonathan, Erin, and Kathy, if she's in the room, to come up with, to help me. Jonathan has something for you first that you don't have to open here, but you can take home and share with your family. If you want to share.
Eyeglass cleaner.
It is.
That's the code word around here.
Yes, exactly. The second thing, I had a kind of a hard time. I wanted to give you something for your lifetime achievement, and we do have an award that we've only given out once to a lifetime achievement, and I thought, if I give it to you now, you're still serving on the ECD, what am I gonna give to you then? But I just figured once you decide to take that hat off for good, we'll find another award for you, maybe legacy, I don't know. So, for your Lifetime Achievement Award to Bill Jorgensen, in appreciation for your unmatched contributions to the development and advancements of emergency communications in Williamson County, Tennessee. And it's shaped like Williamson County, Tennessee. This is for you, Bill. All right, guys, for the next part of this, I'm gonna have to do a wardrobe change, but I promise I'm gonna keep it G. So. Bill, everything's gonna be okay. Enjoy your retirement.
Sure.
You have your own shirt in case you forget, and we have it so that we won't forget. And if you look up there, our telecommunicators are sending you and saying farewell, and they have the shirts on too. Thank you so much for everything you have done.
At this time, we'll bring back Michael Wallace, Chief of EMS, to share some thoughts.
Thank you. All right. I have a couple of things to share. First and foremost, I have some more words from Miss Wilson from Vonna. She is so sorry she couldn't be here today. She's out of town, but she wanted to relay this to you specifically. There are a few friends that I've had the pleasure of working with for many years. Bill's one of them. What a joy it has been. When relationships, there's a theme here, right? Relationships are a priority. We can build trust, another theme, and take collaborative risks together. Bill Jorgensen has consistently made a way of leading and serving. And because of it, we've been able to enjoy many years of amazing work. Becoming better and better for the sake of this community, what a gift he is to all of us. Proverbs 27:17 comes to mind. Iron sharpens iron, so one friend sharpens another. Bill has sharpened me in all those many ways. I'm so grateful for every way we've ever have been able to serve as colleagues and friends. Have a peaceful retirement. I just personally want to echo certainly what Vonna had to say and her sentiments. I'm very excited for you, even though we're going to certainly miss you being here every day. It's hard to say, but it's the truth. I'm very excited for you and your family. I do want to specifically express on behalf of Williamson EMS our deepest gratitude and appreciation for your so many years of dedicated service. This likely will come to any surprise of you in the room, but there's no way to even put into words how impactful your hard work and dedication to the community has been. over the years, especially for our department as well. I look back over, I came here in the 90s myself, and seeing where we had a tremendous organization back then, but seeing where we are today, just the truth is your fingerprints are all over it. I'm so grateful to you. He loves radios. Are we clear on that? But the truth is, every time there's an emergency in this community, every time one of our ambulances respond to a medical situation, Bill's fingerprints are all over that, every time. He would never say that to anybody in the room, but it's just the truth. And so grateful for that. Grateful for your friendship, grateful for your partnership, excited for you. And the last thing I just wanted to say to Lee and the family as well, I think most of us in this room understand what a sacrifice to family this line of work can be. And I just want you all to know that Bill talks about you all the time. You're just such an important part in his life. And I'm sure those times when he wasn't able to be at home because the demands of the job were so high, he was always, you all were always in his heart. And it's painful as a father and a husband to sacrifice those time away from family like that to serve the greater good of the community. But he's done it relentlessly and with great honor, and always, always with great commitment to you all. So I just want to thank you as well. Certainly he would not have been able to do this without your support. And thank you all. And thank you, Bill. Appreciate you.
I need a 4x4.
We got one.
I know you do.
Thank you.
Now we will hear from the chairman of the Emergency Communications District Board, John Allman.
Thank you. Unfortunately, Todd stole a lot of my thunder. And I was told I had to keep my talk under 30 minutes. So, I'm 3 minutes, I'm sorry. So, good afternoon. For those of you who don't know me, my name is John Allman, and I'm speaking on behalf, as Jill said, from the Emergency Communications Board. We're gathered here to celebrate a truly remarkable individual, a dedicated public servant who has devoted 35 years of his life to keeping our community safe. Our Public Safety Director, Bill Jorgensen, is retiring, and it's my privilege to stand before you today to pay tribute to his extraordinary career. For 3.5 decades, Bill has been the backbone of our Public Safety Department. He has worked tirelessly to ensure that our citizens are protected from harm. His unwavering commitment to duty, his unshakable integrity, and his unparalleled experience have earned the respect and admiration of everyone in this room. Under his leadership, our 911 system has become a model of excellence. He has implemented programs that have forged strong partnerships with local, state, and federal agencies. He has inspired a culture of collaboration and cooperation amongst team members. In 1988, the Williamson County Communications District was established. A 7-member board was appointed and dispatching started from the basement of the administrative complex. In 1989, basic 911 service was available and the county started using it. And then 1990, enhanced 911 became available. 1994, the consolidation of dispatch services started with various departments in the county. And in 1999, the Department of Emergency Communications was created. I'm telling you this, but I think you already know all this stuff, so it's kind of weird me looking at you all at the crowd. In 2000, the basement of the admin complex was renovated and added much needed space to the dispatch center, increasing the dispatch stations from 4 to 8. It's a big jump. In 2014, construction began on this facility. And in 2016, Communications Center relocated to here and went live. Today, there are 19 dispatch positions and 6 call-taking positions. The Communications Center answers over 228,000 calls per year. That's amazing. As I was writing this, I searched for a single word that would adequately describe Bill, and that word is influencing. The definition of an influencer is a person who is regarded as an expert within their particular field. People trust their opinions, and their endorsements carry considerable amount of weight. It's been absolutely amazing to watch the growth of public safety in Williamson County for the last 35 years, especially from an inside perspective. Throughout this journey, numerous individuals have contributed their time, effort, and expertise to shape Williamson County Public Safety Agency and the landscape of that. Yet, there is one person whose impact is particularly profound. Bill, your role has been pivotal in shaping this agency. Not only is success just in Tennessee, but the standard has been admired across the country. Bill Jorgensen has been an influencer who has dedicated his career to making his home a better place to live. His home. He's grounded in Williamson County, but I don't think his efforts have been personal. It's all about the folks he has served. As I prepared for this talk, I came across a recent article posted about Bill, where he was quoted saying his interest in public safety peaked in 1985 when he paid a visit to the Brentwood Fire Department. And he witnessed what happens when a call comes in. The article goes on to quote Bill saying, "I thought, wow, and I was hooked." He joined the Williamson County Rescue Squad, and that's what got him into emergency services. Bill's impact goes far beyond these walls. His works have touched thousands of countless individuals, providing comfort and support to those in need, and bringing hope to those who have lost it. He has been a rock, a steady presence in times of crisis, and a shining example of what it means to serve others. The common theme is a servant leader. I can honestly say it's been my honor and privilege to work together with you over the years. We have learned so much from each other. I hope you get to spend lots of time with grandbabies. That's the coolest thing, and I speak from experience. And may God continue to bless you and your family as you turn this next chapter in your life. Thank you, my friend, for your service.
You may have picked up on the fact that Bill is a pretty big proponent of amateur radio. And so now we would like to hear from members of Williamson County Amateur Radio Service, Jeff Schwartz and Jeff Standifer.
My name's Jeff Schwartz. I wear 2 hats. Bill, let me be the first as the team leader of the Williamson County Emergency Management Agency Reserves to welcome you into the reserves. And thank you, God, for approving that so quickly.
I didn't know about that either.
But I'm also the Williamson County Amateur Radio Emergency Service Emergency Coordinator. And it's from that respect that I'd like to address you. On behalf of all 163 federally licensed amateur radio operators of the Williamson County Amateur Radio Emergency Service, in recognition of your 35 years of outstanding service to the community, and especially your support, engagement, and friendship with the Amateur Radio Emergency Service, I'd like to present you with a few gifts. So, we heard you like the code, so I'm going to open it up. There's a hat in there too. Your name and call sign are embroidered on there. It's not. And perhaps some toys to go with it, gift certificate from Ham Radio Outlet. So, thank you.
Bill, I've known you since '96 when I joined the rescue squad and you were my first lieutenant. And from there, you introduced me to Jack Cox and W Cares, and see where that's taken us. We have worked 20 plus years of field days. We've activated islands on Percy Priest Lake. We've activated parks for Parks on the Air, and I have enjoyed every minute of it. And Lee, thank you for sharing it with us. But you have done more for amateur radio for us here in Williamson County than we could ever know. But it's been a long, great ride. I'm wishing you the best in your retirement, and I just hope the friendship will continue through the years. We'll continue to work field day.
Thank you so much. Don't be a stranger in the Oxfam room.
In just a moment, we'll be hearing from Bill's family and from Bill himself. But at this time, we did want to open the floor. Notice that we've had some special guests join us as well. I see the Director of TEMA here, Director Sheehan, Commissioner of Safety, Homeland Security, our former Sheriff. Jeff Long is here, and also our Sheriff, Jeff Hughes. If y'all would like to come up at this time, we would love it. Thank you. Excuse me.
Did not prepare any remarks, so I didn't know I'd get spotted in the crowd. But Bill, you know, I wrote a note for you, but essentially what it says is, like, when I think of the model public servant, which is someone that's selfless, that's seeking to do the common good, we could not have asked for a better public servant in Williamson County than you. And the model you set, I'm inspired by it and just incredibly grateful for it. So thank you very much. Just a little token. We have some other things coming for you too that take some time. Okay.
Bill, in my short tenure as the sheriff here in Williamson County, I haven't had a lot of interaction with you, but my interaction primarily came through the Brentwood Police Department, where I spent 36 years of my career. And it didn't take me long to learn your passion and just your drive to make this community, this whole county, not just this community, the whole county, a safer place was remarkable. And I always looked up to you and respected you and admired you. And the words that have been said couldn't ring any truer. You're a man of character and integrity. And if a building deserved a name, this building deserves your name, in my opinion. If we could maybe start a petition, I don't know. But congratulations and all the best in your retirement.
Bill? I learned this week, unfortunately, how popular and how scared, I guess, people are of Bill Jorgensen. We send up requests for certificates to the governor's office, and they send them back to the commissioners, and we present them. But apparently Bill has a connection in the Capitol because a couple of days ago, I kept trying to find the certificate and couldn't find it, and I had somebody call over and they said, oh, we mailed it directly to Bill. So you may have two of these, so if you do, I apologize. By Bill Lee, the Governor. By virtue of the authority vested in me, I hereby confer upon Bill Jorgensen this certificate of appreciation in recognition of outstanding service, in the best interest, and in the highest traditions of the state of Tennessee, given under my hand the great seal of the state of Tennessee in Nashville, the 10th day of July, 2024, the Honorable Bill Lee, Governor. Bill, thank you for your time.
Now we have a special presentation on behalf of the Emergency Communications District and the Williamson County First Responders Honor Guard Team.
Citizens of Williamson County, we thank you for your many years of service. Enjoy your retirement, sir.
Detail, full march.
At this time, I'd like to ask Bill and Lee's son, Casey, to come up and say some words and introduce his father.
Thank you. Well, I haven't made through writing this without crying, so hang with me here as I get through this. Didn't know you were going to be right beside me either, so that's some added pressure. Good afternoon, everyone. For those who do not know, my name is Casey Jorgensen. I'm Bill's son. I'm truly honored and excited to speak about my father today. But before I get started, I want to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to everyone in this room who serves our community with such dedication and selflessness. The commitment and demands of the roles represented here do not go unnoticed, and your efforts for the safety and greater good of our community are deeply appreciated. So thank you. But now, speaking of witnessing dedication firsthand, I've always considered myself very fortunate to have parents whose careers were centered around serving others. My mom is a nurse and my dad in public safety. Growing up, I witnessed a lot from watching my dad, or K4COM, as you may know him, living out his career. For instance, the word interoperability was probably the most frequently spoken word in the Jorgensen household in the 2010s. It was unusual if we weren't hearing radios being keyed up or the sound of calls being dispatched throughout the house, or realizing that my dad's unique sense of humor made perfect sense only within the walls here of Fort Jorgensen. If we're allowed to say that. Our pastimes as kids included putting up antennas into trees or going to different emergency calls, always being prepared for any weather scenario and understanding that seconds count. However, that is not all I witnessed. I saw a strong leader whose motivation was never about ego, but rather a selfless drive to serve his coworkers, loved ones, and countless people he didn't even know in this community. He is a leader who somehow found the balance to excel at his job while also being a dad who never let his family in any doubt of his love and care. A leader who never shied away from learning and making hard decisions. When disaster struck, he moved toward the problem, always available and willing to serve anyone and everyone in any way possible. No job was beneath him. I witnessed a passion for what is right that can only be defined as a calling, a call to serve others. In doing so, he gave the greatest example I have ever seen of a selfless leader. So much so that as I enter into leadership roles in my own life, I always find myself asking, what would my dad do in this situation? Knowing the answer to that question will be one of integrity, strength, and a servant mindset. Dad, you have set an extremely high bar, not just for your specific work in public safety, but as a leader, a man, a husband, and a dad. I recently became a father myself, and I know if I can be the fraction of the example you were for me, I will be on the right track. You have made each member of your family proud, including those who came before you. I know your father is looking down at this moment with a proud smile, indicating a job well done. And the standards you have set will be tough to follow, but one that should be modeled. Dad, you were recently quoted in a Williamson article saying, "Honeybees are amazing." But more importantly, you were quoted saying, "It's important to understand history, where you've been before you know, and where you're going." And I think we even had a picture of that was on the slideshow just a second ago. But Dad, you've made history. You've created departments, jobs, policies, boxes, and so much more. When people look back on what has brought Williamson County Public Safety to this point, they will look no further than Bill Jorgensen. The legacy you have left here will be everlasting, and it could literally withstand an F5 tornado. You always told me to leave things better than you found them, and I think it's very safe to say you have done just that. It's tough to list all your accomplishments, but they are known and felt, and your vision and standard will transcend time. Now it's time to focus on family, beekeeping, a few more episodes of Magnum PI, seeing how many national parks you can activate with Jeff and your ham radio, or whatever else you choose to pursue. But no matter what you do next, know that my sisters and I are incredibly proud to call you our dad. With that being said, it's my honor to introduce the Public Safety Director for Williamson County for 2 more days, my dad, Bill Jorgensen.
That was difficult. I had to go over to the table and get my radio. I do have a few remarks. And I was told to keep them to 5 minutes, I think, but we're going to try. So sometimes when we're teaching classes and different things and having conversations, one of the first things we do is we give out a little gift, right? So I'll ask, who traveled the furthest to get here today? Anybody out of state? Christy, you came from out of state? I don't think anybody else did. Where'd you come from? Panama City Beach? Thank you for coming back today from Panama, and you're flying back out tonight. I've got something for you. Come on up here. I found a gift card. Oh, I found a gift card in the house for Starbucks. I don't know if there's anything on it. If there isn't, come see me. But as for traveling the furthest. All right, the next gift is for who's known me the longest. Who in here has known me for over 30 years? My mom? Okay, she wins. Thank you, Mom, for being here. And you probably do. You've known me the longest. We'll go to lunch. I will say at a very young age, and we've heard the words influence and some different words like that, but at a very young age, I had a two-way radio just like this, the exact same thing. I found this on eBay a couple months ago, but this is from Radio Shack. And I broke the antenna on it, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my history that you probably don't know. But I broke the antenna on this, and then I put together a better antenna. And I don't know how old I was, but I was on a bicycle and very young at the time. Has anybody watched Young Sheldon? Anybody? My wife and I, Lee, have been watching that recently, and we were just all in to Young Sheldon. And I'm going to tell you another quick story. My grandmother, and if you watch Young Sheldon, they refer to his grandmother as Meemaw. I didn't refer to mine as Meemaw, but my grandmother, if I recall it correctly, Boat Grandma, who lived on the St. Clair River, took me to Radio Shack, and there's a theme here with Radio Shack, right? And we bought a scanner so I could listen to the ship traffic going up and down the river and listen to the local police and fire calls. Later on, my dad helped me put up an outside wire antenna. It was bought at Radio Shack. So my walkie-talkie signals could get out further throughout the whole neighborhood. And then I figured out how to hook it up to my AM radio so it would pick up better. I also know something else that influenced me, and that was TV show Emergency. Especially when they got out the Biophone radio model 3502, not available at Radio Shack, that allowed voice communications from in the field back to Rampart General, and they could even send an EKG over that radio. We're doing some of that stuff today. I don't think it was a 12 lead back then, but some of that stuff's happening today. I'm going to fast forward to 1985. I purchased a new scanner. John talked a little bit about this. John didn't mention that he was a captain at the Brentwood Fire Department, but I think in 85 it was still the subscription fire department. I purchased a scanner from Radio Shack. It's what got me connected to the rescue squad, and that was mentioned earlier. There was a real bad wreck up in Brentwood. They hit one of those Brentwood mailboxes. They're real special, brick and really heavy. And there was only one extrication truck in the county at the time, and it came from downtown Franklin. It ran extrication all over the entire county, and it was all volunteer. This was a really bad wreck. There was multiple DOAs in it, and extrication had to take place. And I heard this call on my scanner. I grew up in Brentwood. I went down, it was over off Concord Road somewhere, and I watched with amazement what was going on. I think, is Bobby Rutledge here still? I think you were on the truck, maybe. And lights were set up, and people were extricated, and I was hooked, right? That was it. That's all it took. To 1989, and I remember where it all started, I was hired as a telecommunicator. It means a lot. And the 911 center means a whole lot to me. And working at Williamson County, I met my best friend, my wife, Lee. My fate of coming to work at Williamson County and meeting my wife is just something else. She was buried in the basement of the administrative office complex doing 911 addressing. That's what Lee was doing. And I think you actually worked for the Emergency Management Agency. And we literally met walking around the corner of a door frame. I'm not going to get into the details of that, but we ran into each other and we met right then, and my life hasn't been the same since. Here we are 35 years later. I say life is about experiences, influences, opportunities, decisions that you make or somebody else may make for you along your journey. Now, this is really about all of us in this room. Each one of us has influenced each other, which resulted in improving the program here in some way. A wise emergency management director, Todd, told me once, a retirement reception is not for the retiree as much as it is for everybody else. Isn't that what you said? So I'm going to do things a little different, and I'm going to talk about the people in the room just a second, but it's not going to be the usual thank yous and everything like that. I'm going to highlight, but I want y'all to look around the room, and each one of you that have played a role in this exceptional public safety system we have in Williamson County today. And many thanks to all of you. I'm going to go ahead and highlight a few of those areas that y'all don't think about every day and illustrate to you that all of you in this room are making a positive impact. And I'm going to fly through these real quick. Some of you may have influenced, directed, suggested, challenged, got bought into, casted a vision, fulfilled a mission, participated in a committee, attended professional development, course or conference. Maybe you were that person that someone could talk to because they were having a bad day. Possibly you were a spouse or a significant other and you provided feedback to an employee here. Or maybe you were a vendor that provided supplies and equipment. You could have approved funding, secured votes, you took minutes, you picked up food from the local Chick-fil-A. That's the home provider of food here at the PSC. You may have approved a PO, completed payroll, paid invoices, made a pot of coffee, led an accreditation, prepared a meeting space for the next conversation that was getting ready to take place, greeted visitors, you trained someone new, encouraged others, you cleaned a room, fixed the network, responded on a call, mentored a new volunteer, spoke to a community group, answered someone's call for help, interviewed a new team prospect, spec'd out a new truck, produced a pivot table, strategized around a whiteboard. We love our whiteboards. Worked on a continuity plan, put together bid specs, managed a project, fixed a leak, removed the trash, brought in the donuts. Built a new relationship, enhanced existing relationships, instructed an amateur radio class, painted a shovel gold. Who did that? Right over there, for a groundbreaking. Spent political capital out of your bucket, Mr. Mayor. Or just asked the hard questions. Most importantly, maybe some of you provided cover and kept leadership out of trouble. Not that they were hiding anything, but you kept leadership out of trouble. Maybe you have mastered creative budgeting. And then I receive a call to come to the principal's office, which is either going to be the mayor's office, the chief of staff's office, or the finance director's office. No matter how you participated, all of you did in some way. All of you played a role in how we got here today to this place. And I think you all deserve a round of applause. So please. Thank you. And just know all this great work is going to continue. Now, is Eric still here? He is. I'm going to talk about the top 5 things I've learned in 35 years. This could be either Casey Kasem's top 40 or Eric Stuckey's top 3 things to know, which is just as famous as the top 40. Number 1, keep your office clean. You don't have to keep everything. I just learned this over the past few weeks as I'm being briefed by Amy, our finance coordinator, that our trash collection vendor is charging us extra for overfilled dumpsters. Then I started taking stuff home. Well, there was some obstruction lighting. Obstruction lighting are these big red lights that are on towers to keep airplanes from hitting them. And we decommissioned a huge tower out in Nolensville, and I've been using these lights in my office now for a while for a coffee holder. And how am I going to get these things home? Well, I took them home, I put them in the driveway. About 2 days went by, and I'm in the kitchen and I hear, what are those red things in the driveway? I said, what red things? I mean, they're pretty big. I said, oh, those are obstruction lighting. Where are those going? They're still in the driveway. Timing. Number 2, timing. A wise mayor taught me about how important timing is. And I've told this story before, and it's a short one. The previous EMA director, Mac Purdy, and I went to the mayor's office and said, we need some carpet. We need some paint for the basement of the administrative complex. And he looked at us and said, no, absolutely not. And he paused, and he said, it's time. It's time to build the building that you're in today. It was time. And I've used that knowledge to help me, and that is why we're here today. So I will tell you, I knew it was time to move on to my next chapter. And it's not your fault, Mayor, because you taught me about timing. And some people thought it was strange that I'd be retiring right now when things seem to be in pretty good shape. I'm at the highlight of my career. But I thought that was a really good time, and consulting with my wife and family, all that influenced my decision to retire because I knew we were at a great place and it was time for another chapter in public safety and for me. Number 3, relationships and partnerships. That's been talked about a lot today. This is probably the most important out of the top 5. I'm actually going to read 6 to you, but I called it the top 5 because we cannot function effectively without strong relationships at home, work, locally between counties, cities, towns, and the state. I also did some Googling on myself, and I found a quote from 15 years ago that was in a national publication that stated, relationships are the key to our nation's security. Quote from Bill Jorgensen. And I believe this is still true today, nationally and locally. Number 4, PACE. Does everybody know what PACE is? Primary, alternate, contingent, and emergency. Applying PACE methodology to everything. Having a primary, alternate, contingent, and emergency way of conducting business. You can even use this methodology at home. But I'd be careful if you use PACE for your marriage, because that may not last long. This is my primary wife. I won't even go there. I don't use that at home. I'm getting the look right now. Number 5, historical perspective. To know where you're going, you have to understand where you've been. I wish I could spend more time on that here, and because it needs some attention, but that's okay. We've covered a lot today of public safety, but it goes back even further. Who knew Commissioner Jeff Long, our former sheriff, was the first EMA director? Did anybody know that? He's the first EMA director in Williamson County. It was when it was civil defense. But where can I go find that information? I don't know where to go find that. I knew that because we had that conversation. He reminded me of that, and thank you. My last one is listen. Listen more, know when to stop talking, and know when to get out of the way. That happened to me just early this morning when I was having coffee with Lee, and I was getting ready to come to work at 8 o'clock this morning, and Lee said, why don't you just stay home and stay out of everybody's way, and we'll get there shortly. That was such wise advice, and we did. We had another cup of coffee and stayed out of everybody's way. So this is where I need to stop talking, and I'm getting ready to wrap this up. But to Mayor Anderson and Chief of Staff Diane Giddens, I've got a couple thank yous. So thank you for providing examples of great leadership and sharing your wisdom and experiences. Thank you for taking a risk on me and our public safety team and allowing us freedom to do our work. Thank you for allowing time for this transition to take place that we're going through right now and we'll wrap up this week. And thank you, Mr. Mayor, for allowing me to serve this great county and community for the past 35 years and providing me other opportunities that are forthcoming. To Connor, and I think you're public safety director now. You were appointed Monday night. I don't know what that makes me because I'm still here, but you know, I look forward to seeing what you'll be bringing to the table as you lead this incredible team into the future. I want everyone to know that I have great confidence in you, and I have truly enjoyed the past few weeks in getting to know you. And I'm almost done here, but if you don't mind, I'd like my family to stand up here with me, please, just for a minute. And I'm coming out of this jacket. It's time. So, if you didn't notice, this isn't just a regular Hawaiian shirt. This has got, where's Clint? He's coming? Oh, here he comes. And when I asked for my family, my dog Nora came up here too. So. And I'm sorry about her barking earlier. Those flags really freaked her out. She's used to antennas and radios. So I've set my priorities for the next season, and I don't mind saying it publicly. Look. That I am reaffirming my faith, reaffirming my marriage, and reaffirming my relationship with my children, their spouses, and grandchildren. You know, if I never broke my antenna and Radio Shack was not around, I would not have met Lee. I would never join the rescue squad. I would not have applied at the county. Lee and I would not have had children, and now grandchildren, and I would never met all of you and my dog Nora. This whole experience today has been very humbling, truly humbling, and I thank y'all for being part of the solutions that got us here today. Yeah. I want to thank all the team for trusting me and for putting this and trusting me, and thank you for putting this event together today. I'll wrap up with encouraging everyone. When you leave here today, I'm surprised nobody said this today, I don't think, but when you leave here today, go on home. It's okay for the Franklin employees and Brentwood employees to go on home. Just go on home. Because I want you all to go on home, really, because it'll all be here tomorrow, and you do need to spend time at home. And you have my promise that everything will be okay. Thank you all. Thank you. Oh, it's down here.
Thanks, perfect.
It's next to the radio.
Oh, of course. Thank you. To close out our celebration of Bill, those of us who work here in the Public Safety Center have a special dedication that we'd like to make. And in order to do that, we'd love to bring up our incoming Public Safety Director, Connor Scott.
No, obviously just kidding. So Connor, Scott, good to see you all. I may have known Bill for the least amount of time out of everyone in this building, but in my short time with him the past 6 weeks, and I'm grateful to him, and grateful to the mayor, and to the county for our time together, I have absolutely learned that he is the real deal. So if you needed any sort of outside independent person who hasn't been influenced him by over the years, I can tell you that he is the genuine article, and I have so much respect for him. I'm so grateful and thankful for my time and what he's done for this county. And a lot of people have talked about it. Todd definitely talked about it in his big speech about how Bill's such a better manager than me. Todd. See you in my office. But I did want to highlight just Bill's selflessness and everything that he has done here, this building, this group, these people, the processes here, the philosophy here has been built on relationships, but he's done that in a way that is not based on him. And if he had done it in a way that was selfish and all about Bill, the minute he walked out of here, everything here would completely collapse and fall apart. But because of what he has done and how he has done it, we and I, Williamson County, are all set up for success in the future, and we are incredibly grateful for that. And that is what legacy is really about. So thank you, Bill. So with legacy in mind, we can't name the building after him yet because, as you've heard, he's still going to be serving the county in some capacities. Spoiler alert to what may come down the road. But we can certainly dedicate the Oxcom room to him. So I am happy to present this plaque, which is letting us all know that the room back there is now known as the Bill Jorgensen Oxcom room, the best room in